on Russian occupant losses. Meanwhile, as of March 2023, the Russian occupiers had a figure of 23,470 personnel losses. Let me remind you that in January 2023 enemy losses exceeded 21,700. And in February the losses of Russian troops, only because it is a shortened month, did not set a new record, but taking into account the general dynamics, if it were a standard 30-day month, they would have exceeded 22,500. That is, Putin's troop losses, since August 2022, have been setting new records from month to month. But in the general context of losses, it should be noted how significant these losses are for the Russian troops. First of all, I should note that the real losses of the enemy are much higher, because we should understand that there are sanitary non-return and return losses. In simpler terms, these are those who were liquidated, wounded, and taken prisoner of war. But in addition to losses, there are other things that need to be replenished, namely compensation of personnel in the combat zone, and they are rarely spoken of. For example, when a unit loses combat effectiveness, it must be withdrawn to restore it. And what can they be replaced with? Accordingly, they are replaced with another unit. At rotations, similar processes take place, which means that units for replacements are also necessary. That is, compensation is not direct losses, but requires human resources. Compensatory resource of the Russian side now already exceeds 50,000 people a month. This resource is crucial to make up for combat losses, including those liquidated, wounded, prisoners of war, and those in need of recuperation. In addition, it also covers the rotation needs of the troops. And here is the most interesting part. According to the information available from Defense Intelligence of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, the enemy's mobilization potential per month is 20,000 men. That is, the monthly mobilization potential has decreased by 2.5 times. This in turn absorbs the available reserves, and irrevocably. Thus, with such dynamics of growth of losses and unchanged dynamics of mobilization processes, the compensatory functionality of the occupants will be exhausted already in May. This will make it impossible to fully staff the Russian troops, not to mention the technical component. If another mobilization is not rolled out in Russia by then, the units that have lost their combat effectiveness, right at the formation stage, will not be able not only to conduct offensive operations, but even defensive ones. But that is only in this case. Before I continue, I ask you to subscribe to my channel, it will help to promote it. Meanwhile, the rare Gaz 3937 Vodnik, which the Ukrainians got as a trophy from the enemy, got the right pics. This is a very rare off-road vehicle, capable of crossing water obstacles, swimming, as the trophy was first spotted near Bakhmut. This armored vehicle is in service in Russia in the number of no more than 50, and the Ministry of Defense of the occupiers themselves refused a large order of Vodniks. It proved too heavy to transport. But the shortage of armored fighting vehicles in the Russian army forces them to use even such rarities in the combat zone in Ukraine. But, as they say, there are not many trophies.